Hi everybody. I had some questions from a viewer and I thought I'd answer them on camera kind of like I did before with some, and the reason is just I'm not comfortable being in front of the camera, so I thought I would just use it as an excuse to get a little more comfortable. Hopefully people behind me won't throw me off like it usually does in my videos. So let's see how this goes. There's quite a few, so let's get started. Okay, so YouTuber Van Vanish asked me quite a few questions. Let's see how long they take me to get through, and hopefully I'll be able to answer all of them. So just starting from the top, he was asking me about how I wash and clean my van. He wanted to know, am I able to go through a car wash with it, and asked about the solar panel. I could go through the car wash as long as it doesn't have the brushes that roll around. I think I'm not comfortable going through a car wash with those brushes because of the solar panel and because of the vent, which I think was your specific question. I don't think that the vent would take too much of that kind of beating, and plus I'm worried about the glass on the solar panel getting scratched, so I generally just wash the van by hand, although if you saw it now you'd see that I haven't washed it in quite a while. But normally I just take it to a place that I could spray it off with a pressure gun, and that seems to work pretty well. Even with the vent open, I think you could go through a car wash and you wouldn't get much water come in, if anything at all. But I think that, just taking into account that there's quite a bit of extra stuff up on top of the van, you really wouldn't want to run it through most car washes. That's just my take on it. Let's see, you asked me if it's less noisy, street noise, with my windows being closed, since my ventilation is mostly vertical, talking about my floor vent that I put in. I am a pretty sound sleeper, so I don't have much issue with road noise or street noise when I'm sleeping. So I think my thing with the ventilation was mostly I wanted that floor vent because I wanted to keep the van secure with the windows up while I was at work, just because the van sits out in the street, and also because I live in a hot climate. I want some ventilation going through the van without leaving the windows open. So that was my deal with the floor vent, not really for noise. And but to answer your question kind of more directly, I don't think it really helps all that much with noise. I don't have much of any insulation in the van, so I think that because of that, I just get a lot of noise that comes through the walls of the van, just because I don't have any insulation. Maybe that answers your question, I hope. Let's see, you asked if it gets dusty inside my van, more leaving my vent fan open all the time, which I said I normally leave my vent fan open and turned on. I live in the desert, and it doesn't seem to matter whether you leave your doors open or closed. It gets dusty in here like crazy, so I'm sure it doesn't help, but it's going to get dusty anyway. That's another thing I don't clean up on very well. I need to clean the outside and the inside, which I plan on doing tonight, but if anybody cares. But then you were asking about inside my cargo area, and would a sofa sleeper from IKEA fit? You gave me a bunch of dimensions. I think my cargo area is a little smaller I I took my tape out and I'm measuring about 80 by 58, I think. Um, that sofa sleeper would fit because, as far as I can tell, it's smaller than a twin size bed, just a little bit smaller than a twin size bed. Um, it would work. It would fit. Uh, the problem I see though is the seat height being at 23 inches off the floor. That would mean that you wouldn't be able to sit up upright fully. Now I'm kind of sitting under my vent, and I don't know if you can tell I'm a little bit hunched over. There's a couple areas in my van, basically where I have the camera, that I can pretty much sit upright, and my head just kind of brushes against the top of the ceiling. So, in my opinion, the most important thing about a bed is being able to stretch out. The second most important would be when you have it, pushed back as a sofa, being able to sit upright. So I can just barely do that with mine. I think with my mattress on my bed, I think I'm about 14 inches off the floor. So I wouldn't think that sofa sleeper from IKEA would be a good idea, just for that reason. But everybody's different, and if you're looking at it from a point of view of just as sleeping in the van, you're not going to really be spending any time sitting up in it. Then yeah, it would definitely fit. It would definitely work. Building a bed from scratch isn't going to cost you much. It would cost you less than buying that sofa sleeper from IKEA. And I would say, if you want to see different ways of making a bed, mine is very similar to the current bed that Into the Mystery 13 just made. Now mine's oriented different; it's different size, but his is kind of a series of fingers that slide in and out, and that's basically how mine is. So when I have it pushed back, the fingers are pushed in. When I pull it out as bed mode, it still gives me plenty of support, and it gives me quite a bit wider space to sit in. So I would say build your own bed. You don't need much in the way of tools. That's just my recommendation. But like I said, everybody's different, and if you're setting your van and you're not going to be sitting upright in the back, yeah, I mean, you could go for that. I do think it's going to cost you more money, though. I did look at that link you sent me for van for Wayfarer vans. That's pretty cool, and I think that the magnets would work with keeping those panels in place. I actually think that's a great idea because the one problem I have is I need insulation in the wintertime. I don't need it in the summer. So that's actually a really cool idea that I may actually try to implement myself, just because I really don't want any insulation at all in the summertime. So I would actually like to take all of my insulation down in the summer, and just have put it away someplace. That is kind of getting into your next question about storage space. Do I have enough storage? Was I able to downsize comfortably? I was pretty much able to downsize comfortably. I do have a few things at a friend's house. It's about 2 bins worth. So most of it is tools that I don't want to get rid of because I'm still working on the van. I think everybody that does a van conversion finds that you're never happy with how it came out, and you're always thinking, well, I want to redo something in the future. So I don't want to get rid of my tools, and my friends don't mind the little space that they do take up. So I think I need to work on getting rid of more stuff. I do have some bulky items like winter clothing, and I think I can downsize a little bit more and get that stuff out of their garage. I certainly wouldn't want to have a storage unit. I think that's completely against kind of the whole idea of living in your van, but that is something I'm working on. Let's see, you also asked if after several months of living in my van, do I think it affects how I live my daily routine. You really get used to the few things that are different about living in the van. I'm able to clean up in the van, so I do have a gym membership. So if I wanted to take a shower, I just go to the gym. That is a 4-minute drive from work, so that doesn't really affect me too much. At the end of work, I usually go to the gym, take a shower if I feel like I need it. There's times where I don't want to even go to the gym. I'll go into that in greater detail, later. But I can clean up pretty well here. I do have, you can kind of just see it here, I do have a sink with running water. So day-to-day things, cleaning up that is a little adjustment. You get used to that. As for cooking, which was another one of your questions, that's been difficult just because I'm in the dead of summer, and so I don't really want to cook so much in the van. And I do have a little setup that I can set up my stove outside the van and cook outside, but that's kind of problematic for me. Again, I could probably go into that in greater detail so I can get through your questions here, but those are the big things. The two biggest things is just getting cleaned up and cooking. And the cleaning up is no big deal. You get used to that. The cooking has been a little bit of a problem for me. I've been spending a lot of money eating out, more than I would like to. That is something I'm working on to try to do a little bit less of. I do have some dietary kind of restrictions that I have to follow, and so just health-wise, and so I do spend a lot of money at Whole Foods buying food, and I need to stop that. But as far as social interaction and ability to relax, that's actually been much, much better being in the van. I can be much more relaxed. I have much more time just to kind of get away from people. I'm a little bit of a hermit, and so when I don't want to be around people, I can just, when I get done with work, I could just drive someplace quiet and have my alone time. So watch YouTube videos. I don't watch any TV whatsoever, but that's actually been a really big benefit to being in the van. As far as anything else, that really is it. The biggest thing you're getting used to is just living without Wi-Fi most of the time, and just trying to, I think at first you're trying to get used to a routine of just how to live, and that takes a little bit of an adjustment. I guess the other thing would be living without AC and heat. That's tough. So I think those are the tough parts. I think on a whole, it's positive. There's at least for me, and I know it's different for everybody, but on a whole, there's more positives and negatives, and so I think that's all I can think of at the moment. You asked me about if coworkers and family know. So, all of my family knows I live in the van. Coworkers, I do try to keep that secret from them. I think one knows. Now, my boss does know. I did tell him, although I think he figured it out on his own, which is why he was asking me kind of leading questions. And so I was just upfront with him and told him, no, and I don't think I mentioned it to him specifically, but I don't tell coworkers because I don't want coworkers to say like, oh, your boss doesn't pay you enough money, so you have to live in a van. I didn't want there to be an issue like that, and so that's why I haven't told coworkers. I think most of them would be fine with it. Probably some of them would think I'm a nut, but who cares what people think? I'm done with living my life trying to worry about what other people think, and so if somebody doesn't like that I live in the van, you know what? I really don't care. I really don't care. But I don't want it to be a problem, with my boss, and so causing him a problem. So he knows, he's fine with it, and he's actually been really helpful with it. So, if you think somebody's going to be okay with it, tell them and see how it goes. That's kind of my recommendation with that. But you know your situation better than I do. Let's see, you asked about tips for noise control and soundproofing. I think I kind of talked about that a little bit. I'm such a heavy sleeper that I just don't seem to have too much of a problem. I really can sleep anywhere. If you're a traveler and you travel around, you can find places that are quiet to sleep in better than just parking on the street somewhere. If you live in a city like I do full time, I think I mentioned it, that I have two friends that let me park in front of their house or in their driveway, and that's a really quiet street, and so I haven't had, and being that I'm a heavy sleeper anyway, I really haven't had any trouble sleeping and had trouble with noise. So unfortunately, I don't have much help along those lines for you, but I think that it kind of covered your questions. If I had forgotten some, let me know. And I just want to thank you, Vanish, for sending me the questions. I hope I answered them somewhat intelligibly. And if you have any more, please send them my way. I certainly don't mind. It helps me get comfortable with the camera. I think I only got weirded out by a few people walking around behind me. So thank you very much. And if anybody else has questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks a lot, and I will get some more videos about the van out very soon. I am working on them.